Frantic Nerdcast, hosted by AJ and Brock, talking about all the nerdy things that you want to hear about. Let's get into it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Frantic Nerdcast.
Welcome to yet another episode. We are up to 38, and holy dooly, the aches and pains and groans are coming closer every time.
Nearly at 40. As some of you may realise, we have this wonderful, tall, lanky man sitting next to us yet again. Now he was in the last 2 episodes of Frantic Nerdcast, and he's decided to join us permanently. He's married us, and he now lives here.
I'm looking forward to successful benefits of being attached to you two, so it's going to be a good time.
Oh, there's not many benefits.
Spending more time with you two guys is enough benefit for me.
Oh, that's cute.
Shucks, you're not getting a pay rise.
I was also wondering what the fuck the benefits were because I'm missing out.
All right, so we're going to do things a little bit differently in this episode. We're going to do how we kind of used to do it back in the day. We're just going to smash through a whole heap of rumours, have a little bit of chat about them. Then we're going to jump onto some other subjects. Before we do... we have the first episode of Sequelizer will be coming up. Probably this comes out on the Friday. It'll be next week.
Yep.
So you'll be able to check that out on YouTube. It's a show where we take a movie that never got or did not deserve a sequel, and we come up with ideas for sequels for it.
It was super fun. It's going to come out and you will love it. For the time being, we're going to be releasing that on YouTube. So we'll put some links up and share them around to everybody. And look, so that you can get excited for it, the first episode where we talk about it, we'll be doing a sequel to Basketball.
Yeah, and so we all pitched our own ideas of what the sequel should be, and then we mashed it all together to make the ultimate sequel at the end. So,
and the producers, the directors, the actors are already phoning after us. It's incredible.
It's just echoing in the amount of detail that we've gotten from famous stars wanting to be in the movie, all that jazz. It's amazing. All right, so let's jump into some rumours, or should we call it the Facebook screenshot section?
Yes, it should be that now, because I mean, there's some that are rumours, some that are just. I unfortunately bring too many visual things to a verbal medium that is just fucking silly.
All right, well, my first one, Reacher. According to Screen Rant, Jennifer Salk, head of Amazon Studios, stated, "We'll have Alan as long as he will play Jack Reacher. Hopefully that's for a very, very long time. This suggests that Reacher Season 4 is likely and could lead to an even longer series with over 20 Jack Reacher books written by Lee Childs."
Nice. My understanding is that he fucking loves doing it. So until he stops enjoying it, or he gets yet to like the next tier of break and thinks, "Oh, I don't want to go back to that unless you pay me more," which I hope he doesn't. He seems like the kind of guy who wouldn't do that.
One of the major issues with TV shows is when people start getting more famous, who are the leads of TV shows, they want to go and make movies and stuff like that, because obviously movies are the bigger bucks. But I mean, TV shows have come a long way and they get paid a lot more now, and they're not as big a commitment because they're only like 10 episode TV or 8 episode TV shows these days, so you're only doing essentially a movie's worth of work.
Yeah.
As opposed to the whole year that they would do for 22 episode series and stuff.
Well, Zach, give us your first rumour for the show.
I've kind of got a two-parter. So the first part is more of an in case you missed it. So apparently Matt Reeves has come out and stated that his Batman movies will become a trilogy.
I did not hear that.
Neither did I, actually.
And then
I was expecting it to be a trilogy, but I didn't see
I have a feeling this next part, though, I do have.
And so, yes, the rumor is that for Batman Part 2, it's going to introduce the Court of Owls.
I have that one.
Yeah. I was waiting for that one. That would be so fucking good.
Like, I'm looking forward to that.
It is an amazing story arc within the comics. I fucking love it. And,
I haven't read much comics, but after watching Gotham, where the Court of Owls got introduced, that actually made me go and read and look into a bit of the Court of Owls in the comics and stuff. So it was
the Court of Owls has been in it for a fair while, but the most recent ones were Snyder's run.
Yes.
Yeah, and then that was the new sort of work on Batman, and then that all led into Dark Metal and all that kind of stuff. But that Snyder run was really good because
that was my introduction to the Court of Owls, and it was just like it was funny because it was one of those things where you see the comics come out and you're like, the Court of Owls. Like for me, I was kind of like, oh, okay, I'll give it a look. And I read through it and I'm like, fuck, like how is this not talked about more? Because this is incredible.
And I like the idea of the Court of Owls in the sense it's not your typical superpowered over the top bad guy. Like it is that sort of cloak and dagger aspect of it, which is unique to and a bit different to most of the comics and the superheroes that you go down.
For those of you who haven't read the comics that much with Court of Owls, it's essentially it's kind of like Ra's al Ghul. It's kind of like Ra's al Ghul's army in Batman Begins. It's that same
it is
secret
similar to that.
society thing where it's infiltrated all of the high society and stuff, but it's more weird and wonderful.
I like the Illuminati analogy there. It is like the rich and powerful of society that sort of get together and have that clandestine meetings where they make decisions about how Gotham works and those sort of things behind the scenes. So I'm looking forward to if that comes out and how it's going to be portrayed.
That'll be awesome.
Roll
All for it. So I'd seen a thing or a few things about Rings of Power and how the season's doing poorly and so they don't want to do any more, yada, yada. But apparently they are still planning on bringing us out 5 seasons of the show.
I saw that
they're
too.
still just going, you know what? It's a great show. We believe in it. We're going to keep
I guarantee you it is getting great ratings. It is just
100%.
all of the nerds having a fucking whinge because they're not doing it the same as the Lord of the Rings.
It's also one of those things where they pan it and bitch about it, but they still watch it.
Oh,
so they're
100%.
still giving it the ratings. So like, okay, we're setting the ratings to watch.
They call it hate watching.
Yeah.
It's the coin that was termed for the Velma show.
I don't know. Velma.
Velma was a spin-off done by what's her name?
Scooby-Doo.
That's what I said. Like Velma, that's where I went to. I just never heard of the spin-off.
The comedian, she was in Parks and Recreation. She had her own show as well. What's the name?
Can't remember.
I don't know, but she did it and she was Velma. And essentially it's Scooby-Doo with no Scooby-Doo. It's based around Velma. They essentially change all the stereotype roles of the characters. And it was so bad. And all it was essentially making fun of dicks and just really, really bad humor. It just was not funny. And apparently it got a second season, but apparently only because people hate watched it.
Fair enough.
Well, that's how Rebel Moon got its second.
I don't like bagging on movies, but Jensen Ackles will be Johnny Blaze in the new Ghost Rider reboot produced by Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures.
Nice.
I doubt that, but sure.
Chris Hemsworth has reportedly said that he will know why Thor was crying in Deadpool Wolverine. You'll have to keep your focus on the Marvel Universe because there will be an answer. It will be told one day.
Yeah. I did see.
I love that. Someone just asked him, he goes, oh, yeah, it's one day I'll be answered.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it is, but one day, sure.
Yeah, everything links back and ties in somehow.
Yeah.
I think we might have said this the other week, but anywho, Jared Leto reportedly offered the role of Skeletor in Amazon's Master of the Universe.
I believe we did say that. Yes, that was. Or it was mentioned at some point. We have the release dates for Agatha all along. Episode 1 and 2, September 19th. Episode 3, September 26th. Episode 4, October 3rd. Episode 5, October 10th. Episode 6, October the 17th.
So it's just week in between?
Essentially, episode 7, October 24th. And then The Smart Decision, episode 8 and 9, October 31st.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, ends on Halloween. Tying back into our gateway anime topic from last week, Demon Slayer, the Infinity Castle movie, there's a major announcement coming out on December 22nd.
I did see that post. And yeah, I'm
down for it. It's going to be sick.
Marvelous. Ocean's 14 with the surviving original cast members officially in development.
Oh, I'll be for that.
I'm down for that. I really enjoyed 11, 12, 13. Ocean's 8,
I liked Ocean's 8. It just didn't have that same vibe, the camaraderie vibe that the other ones had.
It missed the spark because, in a sense, the 11, 12, 13 are the same movie. We go there, we're going to break into something, and you think we've fucked it, but actually we've played you the whole time. And which, I said, it's when done well, it's done pretty well. And I enjoyed 11, 12, 13.
I do hope they bring the Ocean's 8 characters into it as well. And just make it a huge
If they're going to do it, like
cast.
I'd expect them to sort of do something huge.
Because it was it's George Clooney's, Sandra Bullock played George Clooney's sister, I think.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen Ocean's
Sister
8.
or cousin or something.
That's the connection, though. It's Sandra Bullock's cousin. character with George Clooney's character is the connection with why it's Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 8.
That's what I thought. Thanos will return. Josh Brolin will reprise his role as a variant of Thanos in Avengers Secret Wars. That variant is King Thanos.
Bring him on.
I have one here which possibly leads into our sequel of The Emperor's New Groove being remade. It's the sequel to it with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson playing Kronk and Pete Davidson as Cusco.
So is it a live action?
Live action, yeah.
I don't understand Pete Davidson. He's not a good actor. I just don't understand how he keeps getting roles. He's not funny. He's just not a good actor.
The only time I've seen him in something somewhat decent was his guest spots on The Rookie, where he sort of comes in and plays.
Oh, he plays.
He's estranged stepbrother. Yeah, and like it's done well because of the kind of character he is, but he's in like 3 or 4 episodes. That's it.
Yeah, right.
What do you got?
So John Constantine 2 is complete, and the movie will be very R-rated.
Saw that too.
As it should be.
Francis Lawrence will return to direct.
So, it's the script's complete.
Script's complete?
Script's complete. Yep.
Francis Lawrence will return to direct, and I seen another thing which was more or less saying, I don't want to read the script yet because I need it to be fantastic. So whoever it was hadn't actually read the script yet.
Jenna Ortega, who everyone knows as Wednesday, and Sadie Sink, who is the young orange-haired girl from Stranger Things, are reportedly on the list for the casting of Spider-Woman.
Okay.
Which,
I could see it.
Yeah, I could sort of see it. I mean, it's not Sydney Sweeney. From Madam Web, Frantic Nerdcast's favourite movie ever made.
I recently watched it finally.
Why?
Because my wife wanted to watch it because, it's a female-based Marvel movie. It was a 45-minute TV episode, really.
It was
what it should have been.
It was atrocious. I would rather watch the Birds of Prey TV show than that, and that was not good.
But we won't get bogged down in that again. October is going to be peak month for anime. It will have Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Bleach airing all together at one time.
Nice. Busy. Now You See Me 3 has been in the works for several years, but is now set to release in 2025.
Yeah, again, another one on the sort of Ocean's 11 sort of theme of not more of a thinking movie of how they're going to get out of things. Quite enjoy them.
Yeah. I loved the first two.
Yeah, they were great.
I was a little sad that Isla Fisher didn't return for the second one, but I believe we've talked about the rumor for that she was going to come back, and it was both of them coming back in it.
Yeah. I think we did touch on that a little while ago, but I think other than being a rumor for the show, but now we've got a rumor with 2025.
Yeah,
so we'll see how we go.
Well, this rumor is not our rumor, and we know what it is because we're going to talk about it in a little tiny bit. But we won't ruin that part of the talk. Norman Reedus, who you all know from Walking Dead, will play Null in Venom: The Last Dance.
Nothing more to say. We'll talk about that later.
And back touching on the overrated episode we just did, a big FU to Brock here. Japan has voted Naruto as anime of the decade. So clearly not overrated, apparently.
Well, I think they're just wrong.
They obviously didn't listen to the podcast.
They didn't listen to the
did not
podcast.
listen.
They ignored me. Japan hates me. My God.
Go back to the last episode if you want to see what we're talking about with the most overrated animes there.
Honey, we did it again. Moranis is back. Get ready for a size-altering adventure in Honey, We Did It Again on Disney Plus in June 2024.
Yeah, I saw that this one was coming out. This is coming. It's his first movie he's done in a long time because he retired, stepped away from Hollywood.
Did you not hear what I said? The rumor came out like 2-3 days ago for me, and it was in June 2024.
Yeah, certainly. Like AI creating rumors is bonkers at the moment.
Oh, so you got Rick Moranis and Josh Gad with his son Adam embark on a wild 6-episode journey.
Oh, is it a TV series, is it?
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a movie.
Colossal mishaps to pint-sized chaos.
There you go. Selena Gomez is rumored to make a cameo as Alex Russo in Marvel's Agatha All Along.
Yep, I did see that actually.
Yeah.
That'll be pretty cool.
Something that I think would be really interesting if it does come to fruition is Netflix is developing a live-action Legend of Zelda series.
We've talked about this previously. I think there was a rumor of who was going to play them.
No, the rumor that we said was the funny part about how someone was bitching about the casting because they cast a female to play Zelda. No, sorry, they cast a female to play Link.
I think we've had like other casting rumors as well.
Potentially.
Or I think Tom Holland might have been one of the casting ones.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way, I'm down for that. That I think playing
awesome.
all the games, I'd be completely down to watch and enjoy that.
100%.
I think we talked about like which one that like what one would you want to watch?
Majora's Mask would be too hard, I think. If they're going through, like, if a game was a season or something like that, or if it was a standalone season, I think Majora's Mask is too hard because it's going backwards and forth a lot. I think Ocarina of Time, I think, is a classic you could do well. But I reckon they'd probably do some sort of spin-off with one of the newer ones, like Breath of the Wild and things like that.
I reckon Breath of the Wild.
Because it's a bit more straightforward of just, there's no time travel and things like that. It's go here, solve some puzzles and do it.
It's also essentially, it's kind of a reset of, because it doesn't really mention any of the other games. It mentions stuff that happens prequel-wise, which they made a game for. Yeah. But that was after this game came out, kind of stuff. So I think that's probably the most sensical.
Like, there's enough there you can actually turn it into like a few short seasons where you the 4 different animal temples that he's got to go through in Breath of the Wild to achieve everything there, to ending up with fighting Ganon at the castle. So I think that'd be probably a safe bet. But yeah, if I could choose, Ocarina of Time all the way. I'd watch the shit out of that.
Warner Bros. And Comcast have struck a deal that might lead to new DC projects outside of the DCU, possibly involving Zack Snyder and David Ayer.
No, just let them go. It's done. It's been and gone.
Like, for everything that they're trying to build, like, how would this rumor even get steam? Like, why would they want to do that?
People are obsessed with Zack Snyder's DC. And, like, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good either.
Yeah, I saw a post coming out, like, blaming Gunn for everything going on with all the recent DC flops, that it's the fact that Zack Snyder's not involved that they're flopping.
I mean, nothing's done has come out yet.
Yeah, that was the point of it. Was like, that's why the thing got rage comments everywhere through it.
Yeah.
Fucking Black Adam flopped because The Rock.
The first thing coming out under Gunn is Creature Commandos, which comes out at the end of this year.
Yeah.
And I mean,
and then the second thing,
Shazam
I think
2 flopped because it wasn't well written.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Blue Beetle.
That was okay.
I
didn't mind it.
I've heard okay things. I've been meaning to watch that.
But I think
one of the most successful DC properties that have come out was The Suicide Squad, which was done by James Gunn, and Peacemaker, which was done by James Gunn.
Yeah.
David Ayer's Suicide Squad sucked. The only good thing we got out of it was Margot Robbie as my queen, Harley Quinn.
I am still baffled as why Joker was really in that movie.
Yeah,
because Harley Quinn was in it.
Yeah, but you didn't need him. No. It was sort of, you could have had him in the intro to Harley Quinn's character at the start, but then that was it. You didn't need him throughout the rest. It just added another overcomplicated twist to the movie.
I think it added a layer for a direction they were trying to go, but it just didn't land, so they couldn't do anything with it.
And in my mate Sam's words, Jared Leto cannot act, so don't put him in movies that require acting.
He can act. I mean, he's won a Golden Globe.
I was going to say, he definitely can act. He's just not landed with the superhero movie. So.
No. I mean, but in fairness to him, he's seen at the end of Zack Snyder's
The cut.
Justice League.
So good.
That was one of the best parts of that cut.
Yeah.
Was his little diatribe that he goes on.
And that's the thing. Like, that's the potential of him. So I definitely think it came back to a production issue with Leto than...
David Ayer can't write and can't direct, in my opinion. Like, you look at Bright, which was could have been such a fantastic concept. That's the one on Netflix with Will Smith and the Orcs.
I was so excited for Bright 2, and I was like, oh, it's not coming. I was like,
he's a very good gangster film maker kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was the wrong writer director to do a Suicide Squad movie. Just flat out the wrong choice to do that movie. And we got what we got because of it.
Yeah.
Back to Jared Leto in there. My biggest part was the type of Joker that was introduced into that movie with very little explanation for the average viewer. Like if you read the comics and know Batman, you'll understand that type of Joker and who he was. But previously in the mainstream, you'd only seen...
I mean, we went from Heath Ledger to that.
Yeah, Heath Ledger, and I was trying to think of Jack Nicholson's Joker in the original Batman. But
no matter who was going to do it, they were always going to be fucking up against it.
No, exactly. And I think that's why they went for a very different Joker route because of that. But I just thought
which was smart. It just didn't land.
Yeah, because the amount of time he was in the movie for very little explanation about the Joker, it was confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have... There's so many different versions of the Joker that they could have gone with, and they went with a mobster, and it's just that's not really the Joker. I think maybe in the anime version he might be a bit more like that, but in the comics he's never really been a mobster, kind of thing. So yeah, what do you got?
Slight sidetrack, wasn't it? Gotta love it.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, stay frantic, motherfuckers. Marvel Studios is considering moving the Fantastic Four up to July 11th, the same day as Superman release.
Do it. Marvel vs. DC, baby.
Mate, that's going to be a fucking long day at the office because I'll be going to both.
Let's do it. It's the first family versus the fucking first superhero.
Oh, you imagine the riots in the cinemas?
I'll be walking out of one into the other. It's going to be amazing. So I've got KFC have released 30 nuggets for $10.
I'm down. I'm down.
So after years of development, Blumhouse is finally rebooting the Spawn movie with Jamie Foxx in the lead role. The Spawn reboot is set to release in 2025. And despite the delays, the producer has confirmed that it will arrive as planned. And for those of you who don't know, this is also the script written by the creator, Todd McFarlane, which can be a good thing and a bad thing.
Yes.
You never know. I mean, Frank Miller wrote Sin City and, he got someone else to direct. I think he directed a little bit of it, but then he went on to direct The Spirit. Wasn't great. But, in fairness, Todd McFarlane, he's a very talented man. He knows how to write. The Spawn, especially that first run of Spawn, is so fucking good. So, we'll see how that goes. But Jamie Foxx is awesome. So,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Underworld 6 is apparently reported with another vampire versus werewolf saga movie in plan.
I believe we've talked about that previously, and 100% in.
I'm down.
She just got voted the third sexiest fictional character.
Did see that.
And Kate Beckinsale got voted the 10th hottest female actor or something like that.
I'm not surprised.
There was another post I saw recently where they were unsure because of Underworld to cast her as Van Helsing in that movie.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
But they were unsure because obviously they didn't
because the roles were going to be too similar.
too similar. But they saw her put her casting tape in and was like,
we can't not
do it.
I actually rewatched Van Helsing
so
probably about a month ago. It was a great film.
I think it's underrated now. It's a lot better than people give it credit for.
The only thing that put me off a little bit was Dracula. Just the performance behind it was a little bit too Transylvania.
The brides were really good. I loved the brides. Were great. I loved the fact that he ended up being Gabriel.
Yep,
which
was sick.
Really good. That was a really good twist on that whole
around that was fucking awesome.
Because I love it when they twist those stories, like Dracula 2000, with Gerard Butler, where he plays Dracula, and it turns out that Dracula is what's the guy who betrayed God, Jesus? What's his name? Judas. It turns out that Dracula is actually Judas, and it was his sins that turned him immortal and made him thirst for blood and stuff. I was like, it wasn't a great movie.
The concept is fucking sweet.
Great, it was a good movie, but it was enjoyable. All right, so that was yours. What's yours?
Marvel Studios has reportedly approached Steven Spielberg to direct an upcoming Marvel project.
He won't do it.
I don't think he will either.
Will not do it. He's bad-mouthed them before. All those old directors have bad-mouthed Marvel, and they hated that it's taken over the cinema and doesn't left room for real movies and blah, blah, blah.
There fucking real movies. Just make other movies as well, and they can all have parties together.
Filming for Shogun season 2 and 3 will begin in 2025.
2 and 3.
Yep.
I know that we spoke about 2, but I didn't
I
realize
think
third as
after
well.
winning like 18
And they won
awards
18
now.
18 Emmys.
And the first ever lead female award for Asian actor and lead male for Asian actor in a drama series.
I think after winning that many awards, it's be
I think
crazy not
he
to.
won 2 awards.
I know that he won 1. I'm not sure about 2.
But yeah, it won 18 awards. That is
So good.
mental.
Deserved. It was such a good show.
100%. I just hope it can keep up
Oh,
that.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where, as we sort of talked about last week, with it's coming in with this much hype, it's hard to maintain that. And if it drops even just a little bit, it's still going to be good, but people are going to bag it for not being as good as the first season.
That's just one of
just
the things
people.
that happens, isn't it?
I heard someone compare it to The Last Samurai the other day.
Why?
It was like a meme, people
Why?
comparing it. I'm like, you cannot compare that. They're 2 completely different movies. Like, it's just, and they're like, this one's got Asian actors, this one has a white actor. And it's like, and then someone in the comments posted the picture of the main white actor in
Yeah.
Shogun. It's like, dude, have you watched the show? Have you watched either of these things?
The main actor in Shogun, his name's fucking Cosmo Jarvis. Like, fuck.
I think this is more of a what if would happen, but Zac Efron to be cast as Michael Knight in The Knight Rider.
Oh, they already did a remake series of Knight Rider.
Is it? I think this is one of those potentially like what if rumors that's been put
Yeah.
out, but I'd be down for it. I think Zac Efron could pull it off. It might be a very different style of Knight Rider as a result, but it'd be interesting to
But
watch.
fun fact, for the Knight Rider TV series that came out a while back, it was going to be set in the same world as Las Vegas, the TV show,
That was a criminally underrated show.
because it got cancelled on a cliffhanger when the daughter, the main character, her and Josh Darm's character, they were going down the aisle and she was pregnant, and then she has she just like drops and then blood starts
Sure.
coming out and stuff, and that's where it ended.
I didn't
And
know
they were going to do they were going to appear with the baby in Knight Rider, but then Knight Rider got cancelled.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Spewing.
yeah,
So in 20 years from now, they'll be in the background of some other TV show. We go, look, it's so good.
yeah. But yes, Las Vegas. It was
Yeah,
a great
it's
show.
a show I've been trying to find to show Lisa because I think she'll really enjoy it.
I don't think it's on anything. I've got
It's-
I've got
it's
the DVDs
not-
of it.
I've got
all-
DVDs,
I've
yeah.
got all the seasons. If you want them, you got what do you got?
I think we've already spoken about this, but Matt Reeves wants to make a Catwoman spin-off.
We did. We spoke about that last week or the last episode or the episode before.
Sweet.
This is my last one. The Spider-Gwen movie is still happening at Sony Pictures, and Hailey Steinfeld was already in talks to reprise her role as Gwen Stacy.
Yep.
I'm gathering it would be Spider-Verse style.
Yeah, that's what I picked up on as well.
And all that,
If
and-
they're getting Seinfeld through to do it and sort of a continuation, so to speak, then yeah, that was my thought.
100% be happy for it. The comics are really good, so do it.
My last one as well. Kelsey Grammer reveals he's had some conversations about returning as Beast again.
Yeah.
Down for that.
Go. I mean, he doesn't have to do much. Anyone can do the motion capture, and he just does the
talks.
voice.
Yeah.
James Cameron is set to direct Last Train from Hiroshima as soon as Avatar production allows him to.
What is Last Train from Hiroshima?
It's a movie that James Cameron is set to direct.
Thank you so much for all that information you just provided us.
Now, I don't know if this is my last one, but it's probably my favorite.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
So, we can all agree that Fantastic Four was something we wish didn't happen. Now, this is the one that was recently done.
The Fan Four stick.
Yeah, that one. I mainly blame the terrible writing, but shit, this would be dope-ass way to redeem Teller's Reed Richards. Imagine Miles Teller playing The Maker at UCM.
No, yeah.
The Maker is Reed Richards from a failed universe who ended up becoming a villain.
I've seen that talk because the rumor is that the Secret Wars is going to have the Council of Reeds.
Yeah.
Which, for those of you who don't know, essentially is the Council of Ricks from Rick and Morty.
Yes.
But with Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
So-
where they got that idea from, obviously.
That'd be sick, I reckon.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
And he'd be a good one. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if they're going to bring in, because I believe from memory, in one of the universes, Kang is their kid, is Reed and Sue's kid.
Oh, yeah.
In one of the use, I believe.
Okay.
So I wonder if they're going to do that, and that way they can have like a Kid Kang sort of still in there and stuff.
Oh, they can do whatever the fuck they want, but I mean,
one of the things.
can't wait for all of it.
One of the
It's gonna
things
be awesome.
a lot of people are complaining about, and I just don't understand why, is the fact that they're really starting to veer from comics and stuff now, and starting to do their own thing, which
we
is
spoke
fully
about this.
acceptable because people need to remember that happens in the comic books. Because you had the Avengers, and then they came around and went, hey, we're going to make the Ultimate Universe, which was a whole different Avengers with a whole different storyline. Different things happened. Ant-Man was a baddie. You know, he raped Wasp and trapped her under a cup and got eaten by ants and all this kind of stuff. Like, it was fucked up universe. And it's like, it's just a different universe. That's what happens.
Yeah.
But it seemed like-
As we spoke about it on like many episodes ago, where the question was, has the MCU done the comics justice? And the answer was no, but they never set out to, and nor did they need to. They're creating their own entity from the characters that we have and love, that have know and love, and telling their own story. So, as you just said, when someone comes through and writes a new comic, they're writing a new story for that character. That is literally what the movies are doing.
Yeah.
That's
They're
it. I think
writing new stories with these characters, and the MCU has introduced several new characters as well within its own thing. So, like, it's just the next piece of the storytelling.
Yeah, so I think the MCU has done well in terms of its used the comics as like a basis and gone from there, which I think, as I said, it's for the most part, it's totally fine considering it's turned into what it has. If it was
They've fucking done well.
if it was to be more of a limited run, sticking close to a particular storyline, then maybe you'd like to see it stay a bit closer to the source. But considering it's branched out into, 20, almost 20 years or something like this of Marvel movies.
Well, I think one thing a lot of the comic book fans have to just accept now is the fact that the majority of the people that watch these movies aren't comic book fans.
Yes.
No, that's it.
That's the world we live in now. Like when Iron Man came out, the people that went and saw that movie were comic book fans. And then after it got successful and people realized that it was a good movie, that's when the other people came in. And then that same sort of phenomenon grew to the point where it was more people that don't read the comic books going and watch the movies because they were good.
Yes, exactly.
And now they cater for those people instead of the comic book people.
Exactly.
And they try and get a good balance, but a lot more of it is catering to the non-comic book fans these days.
Correct. And I think that one thing that the MCU does do quite well is they'll still get some the big moments.
Yeah.
Like they'll still get some of those big moments from the comics in some way, shape or form and put them into a way just so that the comic nerds can sit there and go,
those Easter eggs that they hide in there, that, like I said, those comic book fans will go, that's a fucking nice
Exactly.
touch. Yeah.
I still think the smartest thing they did in that first run up to the end game was the fact that you never got Avengers Assemble until right at that fucking moment.
100%.
And then every
gave me chills.
single nerd in the cinemas went, oh yeah, yes, assemble.
Do you need a moment?
I remember how many tissues I had.
Fucking hell.
And then that moment where like the hammer, you see the hammer gets lifted up, and
yeah.
you just hear everyone in the cinema, because we went and watched it overnight. You just heard everyone in the cinema go,
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
it's like
You can hear a penny drop.
everyone knew who was picking it up. And just like, it's happening. All right. Trailers. All right, let's talk about the first trailer that didn't need to come out because it's just spoiled so many things.
This looks so good, and I
Fucking
am
Sony.
so mad that they released this trailer.
See, and I think this is a perfect lead on for what we're just talking about. So as someone that doesn't really know much of Venom's backstory, no idea who this guy was. But
So-
as I said, sitting here watching YouTube watch it and you just go, like watching your soul slowly be destroyed and crushed.
But even from that perspective, like, I mean, if you were... Okay, we're talking about Venom: The Last Dance, by the way.
Forgot to mention that part.
So the big thing that they've done is they have announced that Null will ultimately be introduced in some way, shape or form through the show, whether it's just an introduction and the fact that he's sending the symbiotes down to Earth, or whether it's a bit
So
more,
for
whether
those
it's
of
got
you
a
who
continuing
don't
arc.
know the symbiote story, essentially Null is like the symbiote king. He's like
Exactly.
the king of the symbiote planet.
Yes. Now, even myself and AJ were like, for fuck's sake, but even from just a general moviegoer, like that it's shown you what's happening in the movie. It's shown you everything. It's shown you on screen the big bad. If that was left in the background, like for something, and
that makes sense.
Even if we just got, because at first when I was watching the trailer,
planet.
Yeah, that shot with the chair that was tiny in the background, I kind of went, okay, I know he's in it now.
Yeah.
But if they just done that, I would have been okay. But the fact that it's continued on to a couple of shots, come back, it's closer. A couple back, and then it's like the side with the hair hanging over. It's just like, you fucking ruined it.
But it's
you ruined the surprise.
So from a Zach perspective, someone who doesn't really know Noel, I think what you just said would have been perfect. Just show the chair. So for us, it would have been like, for fuck's sake, but we wouldn't have been pissed off.
But it's even for me, like, so I don't know how big he is. So like seeing him for me, yes, it's annoying as a normal fan going to watch it that I don't know that I've seen who the bad guy potentially is in it, but not knowing the scale of what he potentially is still up for debate with me. Like,
yeah, but they tell you in the movie the scale of him though. It's like, that is my creator. He's my boss. He's coming down. It's Noel, and then they talk about like covering his mouth and not saying his name and whatever. So like that sort of tells you it's the big fucking bad.
But that's what makes me think too. Possibly he, as you said before, he might potentially become the new overarching bad guy of something, and like he won't be a major part in the story. It'll be more dealing with the symbiotes that are coming down and leading into something moving forward.
I hope that that's the case, but let's unfortunately do a comparison to what's been done before and the way that Thanos came about. If you were to do something like, it's a bit harder with Noel because he's less known.
Yeah,
but
well,
you could
Thanos,
still do.
No one knew who Thanos was unless you're a big comic book fan.
Yeah, that's fair. So I mean, you could have done something far more similar to that to actually build like an introduction to Noel through the movie, and then at the end an announcement or whatever. If he's going to be like an overarching for a few movies or the Sony fucking universe or whatever the hell he's going to end up being. Yeah, look.
I mean, there is a rumor that he's going to be the baddie of Spider-Man 4.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was a rumor I had. I was saving it for this chat. Is that it's meant to be the end scenes set up. Spider-Man 4 being Null in Venom and Spider-Man all together.
Spider-Man in the original Secret War, that's where Spider-Man gets the alien symbiote comps. He gets the black costume during Secret War.
They've already said that, like one of the rumors we've mentioned about Spider-Man 4 is that it's the friendly neighborhood set in space or something like that, or with aliens.
The original thing was that Kevin Feige said it was going to be a boots on the ground movie, but then he came out later and said, we said it's going to be boots on the ground. We didn't say what ground.
See, the boots on the ground part I heard was actually he's going to be bringing in Daredevil and Kingpin and things into the Spider-Man universe, which I think would be cool.
Kingpin was a massive villain for him in like in the cartoons and stuff.
Yeah, that's why that made sense to me. But it said whatever direction they go for Spider-Man 4, happy to. But back to the trailer, besides Null, didn't think it gave too much away other than we're going to be fighting mass symbiotes, which looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's I could probably tell you what's going to happen in the movie, in all honesty, from the trailer. But I like what it showed me. It looks like it's going to be good fun, as the last two have, which is what made these probably the most successful Sony Spider-Man adaptions, besides the OG.
Yeah, they've got that action. They've got that comedic element to it. They've
wink.
got that.
Yeah,
exactly. They've got the good nods. I mean, they've got the good interaction between Eddie Brock and Venom. So it's and I mean, his name's Brock, so that's awesome. And I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good movie. It's going to be a good movie. I have no doubt about that. I think, the trailers for me they've once again fallen in the trap of releasing too much. Still going to go see it, and I will more than likely go see it at the cinema.
An interesting thought.
We also haven't mentioned the other baddie. It's going to have toxin in it.
Yeah.
So toxin. There's a guy who's in a cell, like banging on the wall and stuff.
Yeah.
He's he was in that guy was in Bodies.
Yeah.
The TV show. We were actually talking about that earlier. Fantastic show on Netflix. Watch it. Adapted from a comic as well. But he's going to be playing Toxin, who is Carnage's son. So essentially, for those of you who don't know, Venom was the first symbiote on Earth. He was brought by J. Joe Jameson's son on a space exploration, crashed, brought him to Earth, and then Venom's offspring was Carnage, and then Carnage had an offspring named Toxin, who possessed a police officer, and he was kind of I'm a goodie, I'm a baddie, I'm a goodie, I'm a baddie, confused kind of thing because of his heritage kind of thing. He was really cool, like black and white symbiote costume. It looked really cool. And there's a whole heap of other symbiotes, but they're like, I don't know if they're canon anymore. There was like 5 other symbiotes that were all in the comics, I think. And I think one of them was the baddie from the first movie. Yeah.
But there is a scene towards the end where Venom takes over a horse.
Oh, that looks awesome.
And it looks cool, but it got me thinking. It's Venom could help people answer that question. Would you rather fight, 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? See Venom take over a duck and make it look pretty cool.
I think I would verse the 100 duck-sized horses.
Yeah, I'd probably go the horse-sized duck.
Fuck the ducks.
Ducks are fucking psycho, man. I'd go the horses. Horses, like a horse that big, is duck size. You can kick that like a football. 100 of them, yeah, it's nothing. Fucking golf swing, whippersnapper. A giant duck the size of a horse. Fuck that.
I've seen your golf swing.
That can fly too.
I've seen your golf swing. Those ducks are safe.
Trees aren't. All right, what's next?
All right, so next up we have Killer Heat.
This looked really interesting.
Yeah, it looked interesting.
You can get to expand upon that.
Oh, just saw someone going on. No, I think it's going to appeal to anyone that's really into those sort of cop-based dramas. A bit of mystery, detective solving a case. Looks interesting.
So this one, it's coming to Amazon Prime on September 26. As you said, American crime, mystery drama. So a bit of a whodunit type film. Directed by Philip Lacote, written by Roberto Bentavegna. And
starring
Matt
Joseph
Charman.
Gordon-Levitt.
Yes, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Love me some Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
He's awesome. I mean, Detective Blake, awesome. Charlene Woodley, you'd know her from the Divergent series. And Richard Madden, Game of Thrones.
Rob Stark.
Yep.
Rob Stark, and he was in, what was it, MCU? The Eternals. He was one of them guys.
He was also in the
He's not a bad actor.
Bodyguard.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Fuck, that was such a good show.
That was a really good, I forgot about that show. That was awesome.
Such a good show. No, see, that's another example.
Go watch that.
That's another example of the Pommies doing it right. One season, done.
Yeah,
that's all it needs.
I thought they were going to kind of do an anthology type thing with that, but
I think that was going to be the plan, and I don't know if it ever progressed to anything else other than that, because everyone went, "That was so good, we don't need any more."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this movie looks interesting.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Looks like it'll be a good one to go up on the screen.
It reminded me a lot of like the sort of Glass Onion, like Knives Out-esque, and like I can never remember his name, the Murder on the Orient and Inspector Clouseau.
Clouseau.
Kind of that style of thing.
Yeah.
So I think this is really, it's not going to be groundbreaking by any means, but I think it's going to be highly entertaining and watchable for a lot of audiences.
Yeah, if they can do the whodunit part well and sort of lead you down paths and always keep you guessing, I think that it'll be a more enjoyable show. Because I think that's sort of, if you step into it and you sort of go, it's a little too obvious, then...
Yeah. Those movies where you can pick the next scene coming, it's kind of spoiled it. But if you kept guessing the whole way through, I think it's going to be quite good.
A lot of these movies all span from those Clouseau books, because they were like the whodunit kind of books way back, because they're like from the 1800s or something.
No idea.
They're fucking old. I know that much. But like that's Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah, the movie's quite good.
All that kind of stuff. And
2 of them now. 3.
I think there's 3.
3. Yeah, Orient Express, the Murder on the Nile, and the
last one I always forget.
Venice, or something in Venice. I can't remember. Yeah, it had old love from.
I think I've only seen the Express one.
Niall's good. It's
The
got
Niall's good one.
Godot
It's
in
got,
it.
yeah, Gal Gadot.
And the third one is like pretty sure they're in Venice, and it's all about ghosts, like a haunted house kind of thing. And so he's solving like the murder mystery in that, but then there's like potentially a ghost that's killing the people and stuff. And so it's a little bit horror-y, but it's still that sort of vibe.
Does Matt Lillard come through as Shaggy?
All right, the next one. Speaking of horror, the Salem's Lot remake, baby. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that was as soon as I watched this trailer, I'm like, yes.
It
And
just-
the trailer doesn't give you anything.
Nah, it just looks good. So this one, it is a supernatural horror film directed by Gary Dauberman. It is based on Stephen King's 1975 novel Salem's Lot.
The god of horror.
Oh, he
Stephen
can
King.
write a book, can't he? But fuck, it takes a long time to read them. Because they just keep fucking going.
Try reading The fucking Dark Tower. Oh my God.
Anyways, film stars Lewis Pullman, Mackenzie Lee, Bill Camp, Pilou Osbeck, Alfred Woodard, and William Sadler. And this looks fucking awesome. Just to return back to Salem's Lot and watching all the funky shit go on, basically.
From the trailer, like, I got nothing from the trailer, but it reminds me so much of like 80s style horror movies.
Yeah, it does. Just like a lot of jumps, a lot of like possession type things, almost like verging into the witchcraft element. And it just
So that's my question. So I know very
you're
little
not a
about
horror
this or
man,
this
are you?
genre. That was the question. So is it like... My original thought was, is it going to be zombies? But then I saw the crucifix scene. I was like, no, it's going to be more like demons and possessions and things like that, correct?
Yeah, and being Salem, like I actually haven't read this book. It's one that's been on my list to read for a very long time, and I know that I'll never get around to it. But being Salem, you've obviously got the Trials of Salem and witch and all that sort of stuff. So I think it'll have elements of the witchcraft being through there. But because it all happened so like through the 1700s and whatnot for the Salem trials, I think it was.
I think it's 1600s. I can't remember.
Either way, a long time ago. So there'll be the element of the witches and the possession, like moving into now perspective. So
it just looks like, and like
it looks visually really, really good.
So horror movies have gone through this phase of like back in the 80s, the horror movies in the 80s were always a slow build, chuck in some jump scares. It wasn't about the blood, wasn't about the gore, wasn't about the way someone died and all that kind of stuff. It was just good, fun, enjoyable movies kind of things with, you know,
The supernatural aspect. Yeah.
Whereas when it kind of started getting into the 90s and the noughties, it kind of started progressing more into the, how much blood can we show? How much gore can we show? And then, which were kind of two separate genres back in the 80s. And then they kind of all merged into this one sort of genre of, it's just everything's black, like dark at nighttime. You can barely see anything. It's just so that we don't have to put heaps of special effects in. And then it's just blood and gore and what's the most brutal way someone can die.
It became a little bit harder to tell what a slasher film was compared to a horror film.
Yeah. And so this looks like it's that. The vibe I get from the trailer is it looks more like that 80s vibe of horror.
And it looks like they're trying to, and I hope that they don't sort of fall into this trap. It looks like they're trying to do a lot in there. So I hope that they're not trying to jam too much in.
Yeah.
That's the only thing from the trailer that I thought is that they might be trying to throw a lot into
The trailer
it.
did end with that cool scene of don't go outside, it's not safe. And then he sort of turns around, turns back, and there's just all the silhouettes on the rooftops and shit. And I was like, that looked pretty cool.
See, that's old school. That style thing of like the misdirection, the character doing the misdirection as opposed to like, oh, it's going to turn around.
Yeah. And like there was two simple things that stood out for me other than that one was the like ghostly kid that was outside and says to the kid, will you let me in? And he just turns the latch and then it cuts to the guy downstairs. Like I think he's either closing a window or pulling the screens of the drapes, and it's just got like half the like creepy ghoulish head in behind him. Like, fuck yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And then the other bit that is going to be interesting to see, like with the blood thirsty component, is they've got the kid, it's daylight, and he just says something really like casual, nonchalant, just like, oh yeah, we've got to like go over there and see what's going on. If you look at the scene, he is covered in blood, like from around his probably midsection down, just covered. And so you're like, well, what the fuck happened leading up to that scene? So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the balance between jump scares, the building element of it. There's going to be blood in it just based on that little piece there, as well as possession, witchcraft, and all the rest. Keen.
All right, our last trailer is Tackly Genesis. Now, this was holy shit. Okay,
Now, on the note of a lot happening in a short period of time, fuck me.
Tackly Genesis refers to a warp speed teleporter left behind from the Cold War.
Yep.
A U.S. military officer takes on a secret mission to investigate the matter, but gets stuck in another time warp. The film spans different time periods from the prehistoric Ben Chiang, now UNESCO World Heritage Site,
UNESCO.
to 100 years in the future. Now, when I watched this trailer, I was like, I did not get any of that from the trailer. I saw a dinosaur. I saw a spaceship.
I watched a different trailer to you.
Yeah,
like,
and then there was like little time warpy things when they had like little dials and stuff with all mystical shit happen around it.
I knew nothing of this movie before I watched the trailer. Watched it.
I still don't know.
Somehow I know less about this movie, but I'm fucking keen.
I still don't know about the trailer.
So this
it's a Thailand movie.
This is out. It's a Taiwanese movie.
That makes sense with the language barrier in it.
Came out on September 12th. Goes for 2.5 hours.
Oh, it's a long one.
So it's a long one. Look, for everything that we got in that trailer, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised it goes for 2.5 hours, not 4.5.
So
there's fucking a lot going on.
I watched this trailer with my wife, and at one point, one of the first, I watched a slightly different trailer to the one you guys did, and at the start, you see this little like Harry Potter, like Fantastic Beasts little creature walking around. And Lisa's like, oh, it's going to be like something magical and things like this. And then the next minute, there's a dinosaur with fucking feathers everywhere. And then there's some giant alien looking thing. I'm like, is this aliens? Is this what? Like,
but, and that's the thing. Like everything you just spoke about, then nothing talks about aliens. But in the trailer, they mentioned aliens.
Aliens and like futurist devices.
Exactly.
I'm like, I'm going to watch it.
It is.
I don't know what it's about, but I'm going to watch it.
It is an absolute mash of fucking everything, and I think that it is going to be great.
It looks like there's some cool special effects in it as well. Like, you know,
like the CGI component to it looks really, really well done.
This is the first Thai film to be distributed by Warner Brothers as well.
Yep.
It's anticipated to be one of the top grossing Thai films ever made.
Yep. Not surprised.
The film was pre-sold to more than 40 territories, including North America, Germany, CIS, Southeast Asia.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's going to be like another one of those.
Cool.
I reckon it's going to be another one of those like RRR. It's like just a random movie that was made and they weren't thinking anything about it for like the foreign market, and then all of a sudden it's just become this giant global mega fucking thing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Have you ever watched RR?
No.
Oh fuck me, that's a wild movie, man. It's a Bollywood movie,
right?
And it's out there crazy. And it just became this global sensation. Like everyone fell in fucking love with it for some reason.
I think that this will hit into like people who like their action films and that sci-fi element. I think they are going to absolutely froth on this movie.
There's something for everyone really in there. Like,
there's time travel, there's dinosaurs, there's, as I said, kaiju. So
there's family drama,
futuristic like elements to it. There's aliens. There's fucking. It's all there.
One scene looked like it was going to be a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Versing a kaiju.
Yeah.
Which is just...
Because you see one, like, it was funny.
Was there a mech? I'm pretty sure I saw a mech too.
I'm not sure if I seen
a
mech,
if
but
it's
it wouldn't
going futuristic, it wouldn't surprise me if there's some sort
So
of
we're going to have Gundam versus T-Rex versus kaiju.
Well, and what threw me so much in the trailer, which I thought was awesome, is the fact that we had the kaiju, which I just figured, like... was some big beast that's going to fuck people up. But then it cuts to the T-Rex. I'm like, where the fuck did the T-Rex come from?
And I love how I've seen the trailer. I agree with everything you're saying, but I'm not surprised I watched the movie and we're talking fucking nonsense. Like, I can't wait to watch this movie.
Neither can I.
I think we're going to have to dedicate an entire episode just to talking about this movie.
Just the opening scene, probably.
All right, let's move on to... gaming. Gaming. Okay, I think it was the last episode. We talked about a Planet of the Apes game that is coming out. It's like a Planet of the Apes miniature game that's coming out, and we thought we'd have a little yap this episode about what IPs we think would make a good board game, and kind of what mechanics we would like to see in said board games if it did, because one of the issues I was saying last episode with board games is that generally the IP is just the company has a game that they haven't released yet, and they're like, oh, we got an IP, let's slap it on that bitch and release it, and people will buy it because it's got the IP on it.
100%.
Which happens a lot, especially with comic books.
I'm a sucker for
games. Because you see Batman, you're like, oh, it's a Batman game, I'm going to buy the shit out. What's it got to do with Batman? Fucked if I know. It's got Batman on it.
Well,
Yes.
Yes.
You take meeples around and you buy buildings and build Gotham. Therefore, it's Batman related.
To be fair, I actually got a really, really good Batman Dark Knight game, which was really good. Plays through the 3 comics for the Dark Knight, and you play through that as a scenario type thing. It's really,
that's not what we're talking about. All right, Zach.
Look, I'd like to see something down the lines of the Harry Potter route, not necessarily using the Harry Potter. Yeah, I know. But something along the lines of not necessarily using the Harry Potter characters, but using that Harry Potter world, kind of similar to what
Legacy. Legacy?
Yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy? Yeah.
Yeah. So something like that, where you can sort of like throughout, you'll build your character by collecting equipment in the game and things like that to cooperatively end up things. So not quite a deck builder, but something where like you will gain equipment and things like that. So throughout the gameplay experience,
it
almost be more of like a dungeon crawler game.
Yeah, so that could go the route of like a Betrayal at House on the Hill style game.
Oh yeah,
where you're kind of investigating the school. Like kind of looking for the Chamber of Secret. Like essentially it could be you could play through all the books. Like you're looking for the Chamber of Secrets. You're looking for fucking the Swasnokle. You're looking for the other. I watched the movies. I can't remember.
I was going to say what the fuck.
Although that's Harry Potter and the Swasnokle.
I fucking missed that episode.
Sounds good.
That's the other one I've seen. Hermione takes her clothes off in it.
Oh. You can't help yourself, can you? You cannot help yourself.
But because I think like obviously using just like the Hogwarts floor plan in a dungeon crawl, I think there are lots of things you can explore.
You know what it could be? It could be a hidden identity, not a hidden identity game. It
Cluedo.
could be so essentially the characters play as like Hogwarts students, and then you can have one character who plays as the ghost. And essentially, you got to try and the ghost has to try and not be found by the players.
So one versus many.
So there's a couple of those games out, like Fury of Dracula and stuff like that. It could be down that vein, or it could be the vein you're talking about, like the dungeon crawler-esque game, but do it legacy style, where when you buy the game, you start with a couple of tiles, so like 2 tiles, and you get your characters who are absolute nobodies, and then so when you get it, you in pen write your character's name on that character, and forever on your copy of the game, that character is named Bilbo the Wizard, and then
now we're merging IPs.
And then as you play, like you'll find better ones, and you have to rip up your old one, or your one gets broken, you have to rip it, and
like
that.
That leads into obviously you can then get expansions for it that take you throughout the
because it's scenario
scenario. If you want that legacy option as well, Pandemic did legacy games where it was season 1, season 2, season 0, where because once you play the game, if it's a legacy game, once you play the game, essentially for most of them, that's it. You can't play the game again.
Yep.
But some like I think Pandemic, you can. It's just a copy of Pandemic essentially then, or Charterstone was once you've finished the legacy portion of the game, that's the game.
Yeah.
So from then on, whenever you play it, it's just that game.
But it's like there's enough things in the Harry Potter world that you can like have the equipments and things from like broomsticks 100%. Assisting movement and things to wands and potions and things like that to and different spells that they can pick up along the way that can make replayability a bit more interesting because your character will be different each time. But that's just me being a Potterhead. So
I would play a Harry Potter dungeon crawl, and with the Hero Quest-esque like books. So each movie is a book where it has 20 scenarios in it that you play through, and essentially it plays out the first book, and then, or even it doesn't even. They can be fully original adventures. They don't even have to follow
Well,
that.
it's like that, but that's the idea of like the Hogwarts Legacy game allowed the Hogwarts universe to come to life in a unique way without being stuck to Harry Potter and Voldemort and those sort of things. You could go down and experience your own bad guy, and so they could make something up for that.
It actually, I reckon it could work really well with the Lord of the Rings Journey to Middle Earth, I think it is. Fantasy Flight Games make it, where essentially you buy the base game and it comes with a shitload of tiles, and you open up the app, and the app says, okay, so this scenario, place this tile to this tile, and depending on what you find affects how the rest of the scenarios load up and stuff like that in the app. And then when you buy more expansions, like you buy the big box expansion stuff, it comes, you go in the app, I've got this expansion. So it adds those tiles to the scenarios that it can build. And then also it releases scenarios that you buy in the app. So then you've got more story driven.
Yeah.
And then you can also, they could release character packs. So potentially down the line, you could buy Harry Potter.
And that's the thing, like you've got the castle, you've got you've got the Forbidden Forest, you've got Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley and things like that. So you could end up having little different missions and things in all these different areas.
You could do like a Diagon Alley investigation game kind of thing. Like there's a Sherlock Holmes style game that you do like a Sherlock Holmes style investigation where you play as one of those people who do the investigating thing for the magic police, whatever they're called.
The Auroras. Auras, sorry.
Isn't there like that place where they go and it's got all the
Department of Mysteries.
Those guys. So you play a Department of Mystery guy and you have to go to Diagon Alley and like investigate a series of monster appearances or something. And it's a like who did it kind of game going through. Like that'd be pretty cool.
And that's it. And so like you've also got different things you go to, and you've got giants and you've got werewolves. You've got all these other cool creatures like the Dementors and stuff. So there are unique things and challenges you could definitely integrate throughout whatever game, which apparently we've just developed 3 or 4 of them. So it sounds good.
Yep, call us. What do you got?
Full of ideas. For me, now I was reading a bunch of shit ages ago about how Mary Poppins and Pennywise are in the same universe, or they're the same creature, but they are on the opposite side of the spectrum. So that's what it would be based around. The idea is that it is Mary Poppins.
I think that's going to be a hard IP to get.
And it is Pennywise.
With that game idea, the owners of Mary Poppins are probably going to be like, no.
So, anyways, when they give us the green light, it's not a matter of if, it's when.
Okay, sure.
Now, so it's more or less, you can play it in a few different ways, but it'll either be a drafting game, because the idea is that Mary Poppins is looking after kids, Pennywise is more or less taking kids, so the drafting element will be each of the kids are the like playable characters through the thing for whoever you are as Mary Poppins, Pennywise, and then it'll be dependent on who, like what side of the card you play, whether it's a good side of the card or an evil side of the card, being who they've been drafted to, and then from there it ultimately becomes a skirmish game.
He looks so proud of himself. It sounds something like it's an extension of Secret Hydra that we tried to play.
Secret Hitler, yeah.
We tried to play the other week, where obviously someone's going to be good, someone's going to be bad, and you've got to try and figure that out. So it could be interesting. He's not sold.
I'm not sold. Come on, give me some more.
Everybody's sold. Everyone's already buying it.
It's out already. It's in shops now, guys.
No, I mean, like you can do like a straight up versus type element where you literally have Mary Poppins, Pennywise versing each other, or you could go down the route of Mary Poppins trying to discover Pennywise. Again, like a one versus many type thing. You go down that route.
You could go down like almost like a Jekyll and Hyde route, where you've almost got Mary Poppins and Pennywise is like the NPC that, depending on the result of the previous turn, she's either going to be Mary Poppins or she's going to be Pennywise, and therefore that affects what happens. You've got the good side, you've got the bad side, and then all of a sudden you've either got the NPC working for you or against you, and in her varying form will give you different buffs or negatives to your side.
Cool.
All right.
Sorry to help him out there, but
We're inventing games here. We're trying to get these game companies to come to us and get these ideas of us.
Like I said, it's a matter of when.
And they supply the money for the IP, and we get the money for the game. We just make all that sweet board game money. So my idea is for the IP hack slash. Mm-hmm. So now this is a comic book. You probably haven't read this one.
No idea.
So this one's based on a girl who her mother was called a slasher. Is what's called a slasher. So essentially, it's someone that dies and comes back as like some form of a monster, and essentially just starts killing people. And so she kills her mum, and then she goes on the road with another like reformed slasher, and they just travel around and essentially just find slashers everywhere and kill them. Great comic, good fun. Had lots of cameos from like Chucky, Jason Voorhees, like all the big slashers kind of thing. Really great game. She was a Suicide Girl at one point. If anyone remembers Suicide Girls modeling site, she was officially like she was on their website and everything, like in comic book form. But so I want to take that game, that sort of IP, and then base it around a one versus many concept where you will play as Cassie and Ivan, I think it is, the slasher guy. So you'll have two characters, and then the other players all play as a slasher, and their goal is to try and kill you. Your goal to kill you and kill civilians around the board, and then your goal is you have to try and go out and deal with all these different situations. And it'll be like a lot of stuff. It'll be a lot of card driven stuff where when you're sort of going out, you go to a location and there's a trap, or you've got to go around and like lay traps and stuff. But the idea is that you have two characters and you're controlling both characters sort of at the same time. So you're having to think about multiple situations that are happening while the other players are just like, got to fucking try and get as many points and score by killing civilians and stuff.
Do the slashers have the ability to work together, or are they still out for themselves?
Well, I would make it so that the slashers are out for themselves. So a slasher will win the game. Everyone else loses. Even the other slashers lose. So their goal is to get the most points.
Can the slashers interact in the sense of, can slasher 1 kill slasher 2?
I would probably say no.
Yeah.
So they'd be more trying to screw over the other players by...
See, and that was going to be the next thing. So would it be like, in terms of if they get points for killing civilians around the board, would they have a threat sort of table? So like if they do something that causes too much noise, the civilians will obviously run away.
Probably, yeah.
And therefore that's how the slashers can interact with each other.
And I was also thinking that the slashers would be playable differently. So if you're playing as, let's say the famous ones, you're playing as Jason Voorhees, he's playing as Chucky. Chucky is going to play very differently to Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, they're all going to have their stats and strengths and things like that.
That also makes it harder for you guys to figure out each other's characters, but then also makes me playing as the person trying to kill all of you harder, because I'm like, okay, this person's has to play this certain way, so they have to do these specific things to kill people, whereas like if you're a witch, you've got to gather up the kids or something like that and do it that way.
You get more points for what you kill as well.
So it's a lot of things. Like it's one of those games. Like it wouldn't be a game for new people. Obviously, it'd be a very game where you're like, you've got to, as the hero player, you're trying to figure out fucking 5 million different things to deal with your players.
I think and I said like having card or ability effects that come in that, like there might be something happening which draws a large crowd of people to you, or something. There's a brand new Deadpool Wolverine movies out, so everyone's going to the movies and that sort of thing. Or but the slasher then could obviously like do things that will scare people away or draw people to them and that sort of thing, which will affect how the slashers interact with each other. But also then
like they might have trope decks or something like that, where like it's if it's Jason Voorhees or that style of slasher, their trope decks might be they play it and it's like a hide in the water or something like that, or get the kids go swimming in the water and stuff, and so all the kids characters the kid civilians would go to the water and stuff.
I somehow have this vision of it somehow morphing into like something like the Simpsons world or something, where like it's this fun-loving neighborhood with slashers running around trying to kill everyone. Don't know why.
That kind of happens.
But that way, it's like, there's the brand new swimming pool just open and Jason's played that card to draw people there, so meanwhile he's hiding in the pool waiting for everyone to jump in.
It's because the comics is 4 omnibuses, so there are a lot of issues with a lot of different baddies. So you could literally be like, the base game comes with 5 slashes, and this is how they play. But then there's just expansions. For each expansion comes out with maybe 2 more slashes, and they play completely different as well with their different decks. And also, each one would have a mini because that's how you make the monies. But I think it'd be a good IP. I reckon it would be a fairly cheap IP for a board game company to get in terms of costs of IPs.
It could be one of those things where, too, they only need the IP for a short while because you can get different expansions. So you only need to release limited runs of each series.
Also owned by Image Comics. So Image Comics are owned by the writer. I think, is it Image? I'm pretty sure it's Image. But if it is Image, like, the person who created the character of from Hack Slash owns those rights, so they would get the money.
Yeah,
I imagine Image gets some as well. I don't know how their deal works, but that's how it works. Like Todd McFarlane owns Spawn, kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's my concept.
I'm going to need more.
Well, for you guys at home, whose board game would you buy? And you know what? I would buy the shit out of that Harry Potter game.
You don't want to play with Mary Poppins?
Winning.
I'm sorry, mate.
I reckon.
To be fair, my idea did not go past having Mary Poppins versus Pennywise.
I think your game would be an easy sell for IP wise if it was Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
Well, there are multiple. It's not even IP. You don't have to pay for that. It's in public domain.
Sweet.
So that's an easy one.
It's a free win then.
But yeah, yours I reckon would have to be like some form of.
I would have to actually think about what it would be rather
hidden
than
identity or something like that. I reckon. But no, that Harry Potter one, I like if it was like a dungeon crawl kind of thing, I'd buy the shit out of that.
It'd be a dungeon crawler game where you'd collect stuff along the way to make your character that time.
Actually, with yours as well, like I said, Portrayal at House on the Hill, but they have a legacy version of that already out. And it does a cool thing where each game that you play is 10 years into the future. And it's like your characters from the first game. Yeah. It's their ancestors that are in the next time you play it. And then their ancestors. So it goes like 140 years into the future kind of thing when the last time you play it. And that'd be a cool concept for that. Like each time if it was a legacy game, each time you played it, you are like the kids of the kids that attended, and so you find clues left by the previous people, or you're interacting with things that they did in the previous game and stuff like that.
Yes, and like you can almost turn it into like some sort of campaign base where like you start at level 1 of the campaign and things like that, where you have like 4 tiles or something to play around, and then you as you build up, you've got more tiles and more baddies and things running around there and stuff like that. So
that works in well with Hogwarts and the way that Hogwarts shifts and changes and whatnot anyway. So I mean, you could have a tile basis. Your tile is randomized as for whatever the scenario is. Play through, build your character up. And as more expansions come out, you get more tiles, you get more characters, you get more abilities, etc., etc.
Even just that idea there alone would be an interesting concept for a Harry Potter-esque game where it's like the game's called Hogwarts, and essentially it comes with, let's say, 30 tiles that are played face down or face up. It doesn't really matter. But then it's like essentially a maze game where you've got to try and get through Hogwarts and find the end, and like you got to flip tiles over, or when you flip a tile over, like it might have move 2 and it shifts that tile you've just flipped over 2 spaces.
Yeah, I was thinking that as soon as you started talking, that like cards or events that happen throughout the game that mean move tile 1 with tile 7 and things like that.
And then another one might be you flip over a tile and it's like like an instant teleport tile or something. Like you've stepped on some magical ward and it sends you 2 tiles up and 3 tiles to the left kind of thing. So you end up over there now, and you're like, and it's just constantly moving you around, and you've got to play cards that your spell cards or wand cards. Actually, let's call them wand cards. You've got to play your wand cards to cast spells to sort of progress you where you need to go, or to move tiles in a way that's going to allow you to get to that end goal kind of thing. That'd be a pretty fucking cool game.
And the end goal is a battle with Pennywise.
Yeah. And Mary Poppins.
And Chucky.
I reckon we can make that game and we'll just call it Wizarding.
Yeah.
Hall of Wizards. The Hall of Wizards would make it, and it's really badly drawn Harry Potter art. But it's not called Harry Potter. His name's...
You've seen what I can
Barry
draw, so I
Bogtrotter?
can... I can do that very easily.
His name's Potter Harry, and he goes to Woghorts, school of magical spells. His best friend is Morani and Tom Sneasley, who is
we won't get sued at all.
who is a family of
Blue-haired.
blue-haired
Bluehead girls.
girls. Yeah, family of blue-haired girls, except for one boy.
One boy, yep.
Yep.
And there's triplets, not twins.
Yeah, and then the evil person who keeps trying to screw with you, which
Has
would be
a
the
mullet.
event deck, is a mulleted guy with a really big nose named Lord
No, Duke.
Duke Trodramort.
Duke Dusseldorf.
Duke Dusseldorf. and you can't leave the boards because the what are they called, Harry Potter? The things that stop you from leaving
Dementors.
school. The Dementors that you can't leave because of the fermenters. And if you leave, you get fermented.
Because they smell real
They
bad.
smell real bad, so you can't leave. We've lost the plot.
But we digress.
But sounds like there's a Harry Potter board game in our future.
All right, so
I mean, a pod. Fuck, I can't even.
for those of you,
Harry Potter or
for
whatever
those
the
of
fuck
you
it
at home
was.
listening or watching on the YouTubes, chuck in the comments on Facebook or on Insta or whatever which one of these games you would like to play, and we'll speak to our friends over at Fantasy Flight Games, and
And at the same time, give us your ideas. We'll steal them.
we'll do that too. Chuck it in the comments, whatever you want. Which one do you prefer? And I think that's pretty much it for this episode.
Sounds good to me.
Cool.
It's been good.
Thank you very much for watching / listening, and we will catch you in the next episode.
And don't forget to check out Sequelize It, which will be released next week.
Look how professional this guy is. This is why we
He's gonna
hired
put
him.
us out of the
This is why
job.
we hired him.
Yeah, stay frantic.
You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever all good podcasts are listened to. On YouTube, you can check out the latest episodes just after the podcast is uploaded.
Follow along the journey on our Facebook and Instagram. You follow me, Frantic Brock, on Instagram, and you can follow AJ, Weird Art by AJ.
See ya.